Now that we understand the purpose of work and we understand why work is so important, I want to talk about some specific areas where we can actually maximize the potential of our labor to bring honor to God. Number one, we win at work when we work hard at everything we do. So it's not just that work is worthwhile and the work is important, but the Bible teaches us that hard work is a virtue. And we see this exemplified and taught by the Apostle Paul himself. For example, in the New Testament, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 7, here's what Paul says about work. You know that you ought to imitate us. We were not idle when we were with you. We never accepted food from anyone without paying for it. We worked hard day and night so we would not be a burden to any of you. So Paul set an example. He worked hard day and night. He was never idle. He was never just hanging around. He didn't take anything from anybody that he wasn't willing to pay for. And then he went on not only to show us his example, but he taught them specifically to follow the same example if you look down in verse 10. Even while we were with you, we gave you this command. Those unwilling to work will not get to eat. Yet we hear that some of you are living idle lives, refusing to work and meddling in other people's business. We command such people and urge them in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ to settle down and work to earn their own living. So Paul says it's not right to be idle. It's not right to just hang out and lay around and sponge off of the efforts of other people. That's not consistent with what it means to be a follower of Christ. He says if you're not willing to work, then you shouldn't eat. Now we know there's a lot of people who can't work, who are not able to work, as he mentioned before, people who are disabled or whatever it might be. And so we saw earlier that God provides for us to have money to share that with other people so that they can eat, even if they're not able to work. But he says if you're able to work, but you're not willing to work, then you shouldn't eat. Now that might be a good lesson for some of us who are parents of young adults. That's about the age that my kids are in. And I think our kids, many of them grew up without enough work ethic because we were able to give them everything. We were able to bless them materially so much they didn't have to work for a lot of it. And so a lot of our young adults are not really willing to work. They just expect us to continue to do that. Parents, I just want to encourage you to take this verse in mind that you might be enabling your child to be disobedient to God if you continue to provide for them without expecting them to make a contribution at home or expecting them to go to work. So we win at work when we work hard at everything we do. And that's true whether you're a student. If you're a student, work hard at school. Get your homework done. Don't procrastinate. It's true if you're working at home as a mom, raising a family. Work hard at that. Turn off the TV and take care of some business. And whether you go to work or whether you work in an office or a physically demanding job, we win at work by working hard at everything we do. Now, as we talk about working hard, I want you to understand that God has set up a balance between work and rest. In Genesis chapter 34, he said, you have 6 days to do all of your ordinary work. He says, but on the seventh day, you're supposed to rest. And he says, you're supposed to rest even in the times of the middle of harvest when things are urgent and work is really needed. He said, you still take that day off to rest. That shows what a priority it is. Now, some people need to be told to get to work. Some people think the ratio is the other way around. If I work 1 day, then I'd like to hang out and rest for 6. Well, God set it up the other way. But there's other people in our society today who need to be told to rest. Because I've seen the statistics that the average work week is getting longer and longer. And that many people are not taking all of their allotted vacation days. They're leaving their vacation days on the table at the end of the year unspent. That means some people need to learn how to chill a little bit and to rest more. So here's this God's principle. We work hard for 6 days and then we rest for 1. That keeps our hard work in balance. Now, with that in mind, I want to think a little bit with you about retirement, because the American dream of retirement, right, is to not have to work ever again anymore. And in retirement, then I can just go play golf all day, or I can go on vacation, or whatever it is. Well, number one, that's not realistic for most of us. But also that's not biblical, because God never says in the Bible there's a time when we no longer are called to work, where we're no longer called to bring forth the potential of creation. Now, as we get older, we may not have the capacity so much to do that anymore physically, but we can still be productive and still be creative. So retirement is not so much about getting out of work, but it's about refocusing work. And now that we can do things that are creative and that are productive and significant, but we just can choose more what we want to do because we don't have to worry about getting paid for that. And so if you have a hobby, like in a wood shop or whatever it is that you might do for fun, instead of just making stuff for yourself, you can apply that creativity, that productivity to bless other people. Make toys for kids or whatever it might be. But the point is that in retirement, it's not a matter of not working anymore, but refocusing our work. And a lot of people find, in fact, that retirement gives them a great opportunity now to invest in the kingdom of God and to really put a lot of time into helping build up God's kingdom and serving the Lord. The point is that to win at work, that we work hard at whatever we do. We keep working even in retirement. No matter what your job might be, it's about working hard.